Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Stacy Brown, your local South Florida realtor. Thank you for joining me today in our new post-election real estate world. And what I want to talk about today is something that I can tell you with confidence is on the horizon for at least the South Florida real estate market. I know that there is a lot of speculation that has been out in the media now as to what's going to happen to the real estate market as a whole. Are we going to see an increased amount of buyer demand? Are we going to see an increased amount of inventory for sale? Will the prices of real estate start to come down? Will it go up? Is a crash on the horizon? And depending on what expert you speak to or what publication you may read, everyone's going to give you a little bit of a different opinion. I, of course, have mine, and I'm not here to talk to you about my opinions. Of course, if any of you out there watching have specific questions about your specific situation, I'm always happy to speak with you privately. I think real estate is something that is very hyper local and therefore very specific. So I think different people and different situations and scenarios are going to play out differently in 2025. And this is irrelevant to the election as a whole. I think that really didn't have too much of a bearing on too many things. There are changes coming, but the direction it may go in is yet to be determined. However, let's talk about the elephant in the room. This is something that I really do have a lot of confidence in, and that's because there is new litigation that has already been passed and will take effect now, January 1st of 2025. And that is the lawsuit that is a direct result of the Surfside collapse that took place a few years ago. If you remember, in Surfside, Florida, a tiny little beachfront town, Miami-Dade County, near Bal Harbor, near Southern Miami. Let's just put it that way. It's on the water. It is a beautiful little location, and it was a condo building that has been there for years, many years. There are some original owners that were living in that building, a lot of people that were living in that building on fixed income. And on that dreaded evening, while all of those unit owners were sleeping, the building collapsed, killing close to 100 people. It was tragic, to say the least. I lost sleep for days over that story. That was super scary. What many speculate, and is probably the truth, is that the reason that that building collapsed was due to deferred maintenance, neglected maintenance items that went on for years because the association did not have enough money in reserves to pay for the repairs that were needed in the building. This building, keep in mind, like I said, was on the ocean. It was subject to very many environmental conditions. There was sea salt. There was erosion just from the beach. There was sands. Lots of things could have caused the deterioration of the building. That's not the point, though. The point is that the association that managed this building did not have the money to handle what was needed to bring this building to code and make it safe for all of its residents. What's important to know about how associations, particularly condo associations, are managed in Florida is that every year in Q4, so many of these condo associations are doing this right now, they get together and they vote on the budget to be passed for the next calendar year. And what has been happening across Florida is really the homeowners would get together and they would vote, and like most people would want, they vote to not fund reserves. So they want to keep their monthly expenses with the association down. So therefore, it's like an insurance policy. That's what a reserve account really is. They didn't want to be paying more money per month to put into a reserve account should some big renovation or repair be needed. They just kind of wanted to take the stance, let's keep our monthly expenses low. Should a natural disaster or some other type of catastrophe happen, the association can go ahead, pass a special assessment, we'll pay for it that way instead of having this very high fixed monthly bill. Well, what happens if you do it that way, when things arise, which of course they will, anytime you're a homeowner, that comes along with the responsibility of home maintenance. things are going to happen, and these associations don't have the money, if they don't have the reserve account, to go ahead and do these repairs. So they pass these special assessments, which are large. I mean, really large in many cases. In some cases, the associations have to take out loans from the bank to pay for them and then divide the cost of that loan amongst all the unit owners. In many cases, we have seen, in South Florida anyway, these expenses being to the tune of 6 figures per unit owner. So when these unit owners are getting these bills, they're in sticker shock, to say the least, and they just say, we don't have the money. We can't pay it. I don't know where I can pay you an additional $1,000 a month to go towards redoing the parking garage, fixing the pool deck, doing the roofing work. The list can go on repairs that a building of these sizes can need, but it comes down to the money isn't there. And that's likely what happened in Surfside. Everyone knew it has been documented the repairs that these buildings needed. And not that the homeowners didn't want to do it, they literally didn't have the money for it. So fast forward to now, come January 1st of 2025, it is now going to be a legal requirement that associations in South Florida carry a reserve account. I believe it is about 10% of the total monthly budget must be put aside into a reserve account, and every homeowner must pay that. What is this going to do? Well, that's easy. What it's going to do is it is going to increase your condo association fees quite significantly if you don't already carry a reserve account with the association. So people that may have been paying something around $300 a month in condo fees can now see that doubled, if not tripled. So what's going to be the result of that? Well, the result of that is going to be something that we have been starting to see already over the course of this year, and I suspect will likely get worse. We are going to see an increase of inventory because a lot of these homeowners simply cannot afford to pay these fees that they are going to be now assessed. For many, it's going to be more than their mortgage payments. For some who don't even have mortgage payments and have been living there for 30 plus years, now they have a monthly bill that they weren't necessarily prepared for. So what have we always talked about when it comes to how the real estate market's performing? It is always the law of supply and demand. So what we are inevitably going to start to see as the cost to live in a condo rises, we are going to start to see an increase in inventory. All of these homeowners are going to start to flood the market with their condos for sale. The bigger fear is that we are also not going to have demand for these units, because the same reason why people are selling them is going to be the same reason why people are not going to want to buy them. In addition to these fees, since repairs are now needed, and part of the lawsuit was for all of these buildings that have been around for 40 or 50 years, they must undergo a rigorous 40 or 50 year inspection. Well, what comes up in these 40 to 50 year inspections is all the repairs that need to be done, and they cannot be delayed. These associations now need to take action. So what a lot of these buildings are going through, besides the increased expense, is the increase in construction. Not everyone wants to necessarily live in such an ongoing construction zone where you hear the drilling and the hammering and just the cranes and everything that goes along with a massive construction project. Now these people are not only paying for it, they're living it. It's not like they can move out while the construction is going on. So I'm sure you can understand and see why these are going to be really, really, really tough sales. And while the litigation goes into effect, we're going to see the inventory just start to stack and start to rise. And it's really a crisis. And I really do feel really bad for these condo owners that they're going to be hit with these expenses. But on the same token, I am really grateful that change took place, because as we can see, what happened in Surfside, that was catastrophic. That was tragic. And I wouldn't want to see it happen again. So it's kind of like a necessary evil to get these buildings built up, get them back to code, make them safe for people to be able to live in South Florida again. And maybe one piece of the silver lining here is buyers could take advantage of this opportunity buy into these associations at very low prices, values are going to come down. And in the coming years, while this kind of works itself out, the values are going to skyrocket, because the one thing we know about South Florida is it is a highly desirable place to live. And condo living here could be, in many cases, like, resort style living. It's like you're living on vacation here in South Florida. We're close to the beach. We have pools. We have these great fitness centers. We have all these great things, the locations, the amenities, the security. People are going to want to buy these again in the future. And if you get in now and you buy them at a really low price and now everything is brought to code, think of it maybe kind of like buying new construction, sort of. It'll have its time to grow. So if you can get it for the right price, you could have a tremendous equity return in the future. But in the short term, for everyone that currently owns a condo, you are in for a little bit of a hard landing as we make our way through 2025. If you have any other questions regarding the purchase or sale of a condo or your specific situation regarding real estate, please do not feel hesitant to reach out to me in the future. All of my contact information can be found in my bio. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe to my channel down below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.